Hey everybody, this is Doug Jankowski with the Grizzled Geek, and wow, do we have a lot to talk about today. Star Wars The Old Republic is getting a major overhaul over the next two updates, 5.5 and 5.6, and that will be starting on October 10th. And we're getting the server merges that everybody has been clamoring. Well, I shouldn't say everyone. There are a few people that are upset, but by and large, I think everybody who's in any way enjoys multiplayer content has been clamoring for, or at least open to the idea of server merges. So let's go ahead. There's going to be a lot going on beyond just the server merges. So let's try and address this in a kind of structured way. So the event, the process, this whole thing, I guess, that leads to the server merges is going to be called United Forces. And the United Forces is kicked off on October 10th with update 5.5 for United Forces Foundation. And what this is doing is laying the groundwork for the server merge and everything, all of the improvements and the content and everything that's coming out at, at the conclusion of this whole process. So there are going to be some structural changes behind the scenes that we won't see, but the big stuff that we're going to get on October the 10th is all the Master Mode bosses will be dropping unassembled components. We're going to get some improvements to Galactic Starfighter. We don't know exactly what those improvements are going to be. It was just a kind of a vague statement that there's going to be improvements to them. We're also going to get PvP bolsters going to be increased to 242. That means, people who've gotten to tier 4 will have a slight advantage, but everybody else is going to be, everybody who is 300 or below is going to be pretty much on an even footing. So that's interesting. For those of you who are big PvPers, hopefully that's a welcome bit of news there. I know some people were advocating for a minimum bolster, but most wanted the bolster to be as high as the developers were willing to go. So that's where we are with that. Then we are going to get some changes to the dark versus light indicator that appears right about here, seemingly every 10 minutes or so, whenever the tide of the dark versus light points shifts. That is going to appear far less frequently. It seems they're suggesting that that's only going to appear when the who's winning, like here, like just popped up. Light 5. Now we got to light 5. It looks like or sounds like the 4, 3, 2, 1, yet changing through that is not going to pop up, or at least will be far less frequent. And this victory time is going to be increased. So instead of just 1 hour, it's going to be increased substantially. They didn't say exactly what. Again, it could be 2 hours, it could be 5 hours. We don't know for sure. But that will give people who are interested in, like, for example, going after the dark versus light world bosses, time to get a team together to go after those. So it'll be a little more predictable on that front. We're going to get some improvements to the IOCath daily area. Honestly, I don't do the IOCath daily areas very often, so I'm not sure what they're going to do there. I do know they are going to decrease the cost of the various things you have to buy to do the various content. So you need these IOCath power shards in order to do things like pilot a mouse droid or pilot a walker or something like that. You need to spend these IOCath power shards. So those prices are going to be reduced. We are also going to get a new CXP Legacy perk. Now, I saw some people seeking clarifications on that. I have not seen a specific answer. The new Legacy perk is a 25% bonus to all of your CXP gained legacy-wide once one of your guys reaches 300. Then, and you have to buy it. So you, just like these other unlocks, you'd have to then buy that legacy perk unlock. Once that has been done, each additional person who gets to 300 adds another 25% up to a grand total of 100%. What wasn't made clear was whether or not that will stack with this 10% legacy perk bonus that we have here. If it does, theoretically, that would make a grand total of 110% legacy perks to CXP. Not positive those two are going to stack or whether this new perk is going to override this one. It'll be interesting to see, but either way, a welcome change there as well. We're going to be adding a new vendor to the bazaar on the fleets, and it will be a character customization vendor. What that's going to do for you is that when you have reached the end of the game, I was going to say Game of Thrones, the Eternal Throne storyline, you'll be able to customize the companions you got that are from opposite factions. So I could go, now that I've got Galt on my in my alliance, I could go and buy Galt customizations. Normally only an Empire character could get those. Now I, as a Republic character, would be able to get those, and vice versa for Republic characters or Republic companions for Imperial characters. So that'll be nice for those people who like to switch up their companions' appearances. We're also going to get a few more class balance, class balancing things coming online. We're going to get taxis in the Yavin and Tatooine strongholds. Those strongholds are massive, and it often takes very long to get around, to get from one point to another within. I probably should have gone to the Yavin stronghold because it's even bigger than the Tatooine one, but this will give a good indication of what's going on. So you'll be able to take a taxi from different points to different points. So you start off here on this big deck, and if you look down, you've got your hangar here, you've got this front courtyard, a couple of courtyards there, all the way out to a landing platform, another set of rooms out here. So presumably there'll be someplace in here a taxi that I could click on and go down to this landing platform, or go down to this other set of rooms, or something along those lines. They didn't really indicate how many taxi stops there would be, but that you'd have those taxis to make moving around your big strongholds a little easier. I guess just a quality of life improvement. It's not really going to affect anything gameplay wise or anything like that, but interesting nonetheless. So that finishes off update 5.5 on October 10th. The next thing that will happen will be on October 24th. There'll be no in-game changes, but what will happen is the servers will be offline for an extended period of time for behind-the-scenes improvements. And this is one of the things I'm actually most excited about, is because they have announced that they made significant capital improvements, or they are making significant capital improvements. They're upgrading hardware, software, systems that are behind the scenes that they would not spend this kind of money on if they didn't have big plans for Star Wars in the future, that they didn't, if this was something where we were in the final stages of the game and they were getting ready to, kind of slowly wind down Star Wars, you would not get these kind of capital expenditures to make these kind of changes. So I'm really excited about that. But on that day, expect October 24th, there will be an extended downtime. They did not say how long that would be, but I would assume that you will probably lose at least half that day. So you'll not be able to do a whole lot on that day, as far as I believe that'll be a Conquest start day, so you're going to have to, Conquest will start a little late on that day for those of you who are in guilds who are active in that. The other thing that will happen on October 24th is that you will no longer be able to make transfers. No more character transfers between servers. At that point, they're going to solidify the list there. So then, moving on, we will get to update 5.5.1. Make sure I'm right on that. Yeah, 5.5.1, which is on November 8th, which is United Forces goes live. At that point, the servers will merge, and it's gonna cause a few things to happen. Obviously, different. Your name is unique per the server you are currently on, not necessarily across all servers. So when that server merge happens, probably the most significant thing that's going to happen to a lot of characters is you may have to change your name. That is going to go. Basically, they have a formula here. Preferred, or not preferred, premier people who are subscribers get first crack at their names. So if I'm Drake Shelby, if there is a free-to-play person who has Drake Shelby as a character, they will lose that character name, and they'll have to rename their character. And I will get to keep Drake Shelby. Let's say instead that there is another premier player, another person who's a subscriber who also has Drake Shelby as a character name. Then they will look at who plays the character more, who has more time on that character, and that person will get to keep their name, and then it'll go, it'll go to the other person will have to rename. So those are the two criteria on which those will be done. In anticipation, and they didn't really say what day that would happen on, but in anticipation of this, they are going to go through the servers and delete any names on characters who are under 10th level who have not been played in the last 90 days. So if you have characters whose names you at least want a chance to save, make sure they're above 10th level and that you have played them in the last 90 days. Otherwise, they will be deleted before we even get to the server merge. All right. The next thing you need to keep in mind for the server merge is guilds. Guild names, they actually are handling this very well, I think. Guilds will just retain their name and have an identifier of what server they came from. So, for example, we all know there are a ton of Bloodbath and Beyond. And let's go ahead and see. Look, Bloodbath and Beyond with the Tildings is in first place here. This Bloodbath and Beyond will keep its name. It's obviously a unique name because of that special letter. But let's say that on a different server there is another Bloodbath and Beyond who has that special character. This one will be called Bloodbath and Beyond Harbinger, and the other one will be called Bloodbath and Beyond whatever server they came from. So they will get to keep those guild names and just have those identifiers on them. Let's see. There's a lot more that's going to happen with this server merges. Let's actually go find one of my cargo holds. Those things are going to merge all of your stuff from all of your characters. All your legacies are going to be combined. So there's a list. I'll have a link down below to all of the articles and information that's been given out on it, including the lists of which servers will be combined into which servers. That's not where it is. But all of your characters will be combined together onto whatever your new server is. Currently, you are allowed to have 52 characters. You will be able to go above that when all of your characters are combined. Oh, here we go. But we don't care about this one. But if you go above that, you will not be able to create any new characters until you're below that number. So all of your stuff is going to combine. So your legacy stronghold, they are now calling your legacy bank, and that will be because your credits are this will be gone. You notice this reflects this. Um, this eventually is going to go away, and you will have legacy bound credits, or not. Sorry, not legacy bound credits. You will have a legacy bank, much like your guild bank, where you can add credits to it, or at least this is how it was presented. Um, those will then be available to any character in your legacy. But what I was coming here for is currently you have to be careful with this legacy storage, because you notice mine's pretty full. Any other legacies I have that have legacy storage lockers, all of their stuff is going to be moved into this same legacy locker. Now, if it's the same stuff that I already have in here, they will stack together. If they are other items and I fill up literally all of these spaces, there's going to be like a legacy overflow, much like you have a pack explorer. They're going to have a storage overflow like explorer thing. And while we're at that, your pack explorer I believe this item stash has a limit of 500 items. Yeah, here it is down at the bottom. If you have just a ton of items across all of your characters, across all of your servers, those will all be combined in this item stash thing. And if it goes over 500, you will not lose anything, but you will not be able to put anything in the item stash until you get it down below 500. Same thing will happen with legacy-wide currencies such as command tokens, unassembled components, which will become legacy-wide. Maybe fleet combinations. I can't remember if those are legacy-wide, but anything that's legacy-wide, if you go over the limit, you're not going to lose anything. You will be able to pass like this 3,000 point command token limit, but you will not be able to gain any more until you get down below what the cap is. So keep that in mind. So plan ahead for that kind of thing. Okay, let's see. I think there are so much that's happening with this server merge that to be aware of. Just double check the links below for all of the things you're going to want to take care of. One thing I will point out, little tip: if you've not already done so, you can create one of each character class on each server and get it through the initial planet and get the 20 cartel token reward for completing that character class first planet. You can do that over and over on all of the servers. So if you've not already done that before the server merge happens, you may want to go and take advantage of that, get yourself a few more cartel coins via that reward. And getting to 10th level, going through those initial planets, it takes an hour and a half maybe per class. So in just a few hours of gameplay, you can get yourself, I guess it would be about 200 cartel coins. No, a little less than 200. Or no, sorry, a little more than 200. But anyways, so that's something you could take advantage of before the server merge happens. And then if you want to just delete those characters when the merge happens, that's fine. Either way you want to do it. All right, let's go back to United Forces going live on November 8th. So we got the server merge. We will also have 1 week of double XP, CXP, Valor, Requisition, and all of those things will all be doubled for, unfortunately, only 1 week. Kind of, I would have liked to have seen longer, but that's all right. We're going to get a new mini pet, which, cool, I guess. I don't really care about mini pets, but it's a mini mogul, so it'll be the final boss from that operation whose name escapes me right at the moment. Yeah, anyways. You'll also have some new achievements and a possible new companion. Well, it'll be very hard not to get the new companion. All you'll have to do is use the group finder to do some activities, and you'll get Darth Hexid, or as they call it, the merciless Darth Hexid, as a companion. No idea if there's a story connected to that character or if they're just there. But anyways, so that's on release day. Those are the things you're going to get. There are other achievements and other rewards, I believe, that are available, but you don't get those um, until the next update, 5.6, which happens on November 28th. And there's a post about the update that will kind of talk about what's available with those. I'll link that down below. Let's go ahead and move on then to November 28th. Update 5.6, A Traitor Among the Chiss, which is the next installment of the story, and it will include a new flashpoint. I believe the flashpoint is called A Traitor Among the Chiss, and it will be on the planet Copero. No word if there will be anything aside from the flashpoint on Copero, but we'll have that. We also get Nahut, the third op boss, for the gods from the machine. So those of you who are doing the progression as the bosses show up, you'll have the next operation boss there. We have had confirmation that the final two will not come until 2018. So I guess most people were expecting that, but that is confirmed that the fourth and then fifth and last boss will not come until 2018. In addition to this, for those of you who are PvP type players, there will be a new PvP map and a new GSF map that go live on November 28th. So that should be cool for PvPers. We will also get a revamp to the group finder. And this is probably the thing I am most looking forward to. They really weren't specific on whether or not they're going to extend the current idea of that they did with the Umbara flashpoint, which is you can only do the flashpoint if you are geared to a certain level. I'm not sure if that's going live, but they did hint that the planetary missions and other solo content would be streamlined and easier to use. Hopefully that means you don't have to do this and click and decline until you find the story element that you're really interested in doing. So you just sit here and go, it can take you, I don't want to exaggerate too much, but I have clicked on this thing probably 40 times before I got the one I wanted from time to time. Not all the time, sometimes it's the first one that pops. But the main point here is I'm hoping that what they're hinting at is that I will be able to go to the group finder and go, hey, I want to do a planetary, but I don't want it random. I want to be able to do Coruscant or whatever, and then click accept and then join the queue, and boom, it sends me to the planetary mission I want to go to. That's what I'm hoping will happen. There's been no specific confirmation that is how it is going to happen, but I'm not really sure how else you would improve solo interaction with the group finder. So anyways, I am interested to see how that upgrade works. There will be a few more class balances coming with that update. We're also going to get that legacy-wide currency I was mentioning with your legacy locker, which they are now calling legacy bank instead of a legacy cargo hold. So I believe in different places they say different things. For example, they say legacy-wide currency, but I read some other things that didn't make it sound like you're just going to combine all of your currency from all your characters, that you're going to have a bank where you can put that money to make it available to all your characters. We'll see how it actually pans out when this update comes out, but I'm really looking forward to that. That would be really nice to not have to mail my other characters money or put it in the guild bank or whatever for them. So that'll be cool. They're going to make a change to the command crates, the way you handle disintegrations. Now, instead of giving additional CXP, those disintegrations will give unassembled components. I'm not a big fan of using the unassembled components, But with them being legacy wide, it might be, and then this disintegration method, it might be a little easier to use them. Right now, it's really cumbersome to use the unassembled components, in my opinion. The going back and forth to, trade in items or whatnot. But anyways, so that change is coming. And then finally, well, I mentioned earlier, the rewards from the actual United Forces going live with 5.6 or 5.5.1, those will be distributed on this November 28th. And finally, we will be seeing the return of Ensign Temple. So we're going to get another original companion back. So that is cool. Not necessarily the companion I was hoping to get. It's Karaga's Palace, by the way, was the one I was trying to remember. The mini pet goes with. But anyways, so we're getting another companion back. It is kind of disappointing that over the course of 2 months we're only getting one. That's a long time they're taking to get these companions back. Hopefully they're going to get on more of a roll and we'll see them come back a little more frequently. Beyond that, we do know that the Life Day event and some unspecified quality of life changes will be coming with 5.6.1 on December 12th. And then some teasers for early 2020 or 2018. We're going to get an additional flashpoint which will finish the current story arc. We'll get the final 2 bosses from the Gods from the Machine operation. And then the thing I am most intrigued by, they are going to do some massive upgrades to the Conquest system. They were not really specific on what those were going to be, except that they were going to improve and focus on daily activities. So what exactly that means, we're yet to see. But it has me intrigued. I like the Conquest system. It's one of the things that actually keeps me probably most actively involved in the game. Is I like working on getting the points for the Conquest. It's a goal to shoot for. It's easily measurable. Hey, I need to get 20,000 points. Hey, looking at this reminds me of one other thing. They are increasing the strongholds to 10. You will be allowed to have 10 strongholds. So not only will you be able to get all 7 that are currently out, you will have room for any additional ones that come out over the course of the next few years. But the stronghold bonus is going to be hard capped at this 150. So that will be the maximum stronghold bonus you can get. So wow, there was a ton of stuff coming. Essentially all of the stuff that I've been complaining about and that others have been complaining about over the last few months or longer. Things that they've gotten wrong, I felt, in the last few updates. Things that they needed to focus on. We're starting to see a lot of those addressed. These kind of changes are never going to make everyone happy. They're never going to hit all of the things that everyone wants to see done. Some people aren't going to like the direction it's going. I saw the perplexing comment. I should say perplexing. I understand the sentiment behind it, but the unrealistic comment of, I like quiet servers. Why are you merging all the servers? You can't, reconsider your option or reconsider this. I'm like, that's not going to happen. It doesn't really serve anybody to have quiet servers. That means the game isn't doing well. And that, if you are a solo player and you don't care about doing flashpoints and whatnot, then, you're going to be fine, but you can't do any group content on those quiet servers. By and large, I think most people are going to be happy with this change. Most people are going to, I think, like the direction these updates are taking us. But I'd like to hear from you. What do you think of the changes? What do you think of the roadmap that Keith posted for us? Anything in particular you're super excited about? Anything that you think you're worried about or might miss the mark? please comment down below. Let me know. Please go ahead and hit that like, subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Please share these videos with your friends, maybe your guildmates. Try and spread the word on this. We've got to 1,000 subscribers. Now we're on our way to 2,000, and every bit of word of mouth help we can get would be appreciated. Anyways, that will do it for me, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you for all your support. May the Force be with you, and you guys have fun playing Star Wars: The Old Republic.